Meeple Nation Podcast, episode 390. Meeple Nation September News.
Welcome, citizens of Meeple Nation. For the next 30 minutes, sit back and enjoy.
Meeple Nation is sponsored by GameToppersLLC.com. Upgrade your game night with a gorgeous game topper. They have all sizes for all the sizes of tables. Many different themed mats that you can put on your topper. If you don't like the themed mats, they have mats that are just colored mats. There's something for everyone. Go ahead and check them out. GameToppersLLC.com. You will not be disappointed.
We are your hosts of Meeple Nation. I'm Nathan Howard.
I'm Dave Holliday.
And I am Andy Holliday.
We're missing Logan today. He's got a family emergency that he's taking care of. While you're thinking of Logan, feel free to jump to our website, meeplenation.com. You can check out blogs that Logan's written along with the rest of us. Links to our Instagram photos, links to past episodes. Dave, you were just mentioning your brother wanted to look for two-player games. All you need to do, go to meeplenation.com, check out that podcast tab, and look for two-player games, and you can find a couple episodes.
Yeah, it's really simple. You just click in the search, type in 2 players, and it pops up a few episodes over the last several years.
You can also get a glance at our bios and see why we don't let Dave go out in public.
Does it really say that?
It might. This week, we are talking about September news. As with other months, talking about the news means we're going to be talking about some of our gaming highlights. And there were lots. It was a great month for gaming. One of the first things that came to mind when I was thinking about this was I finally got to play Dune Imperium.
I've decided I really like this game.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, I've only played it once still. It's satisfied. It's a game that I've been wanting to play for a while. I read the rules for it quite a while ago, and then everybody else was playing it when I was playing other things or whatever. But having finally played it, I was not disappointed.
I really like the game. I like thematically based on Dune, obviously, but it's also based on the newest movie. So the artwork all represents the actors that are in the new movie. Just had actually finished reading Dune, and I read the second book, Dune Messiah, and I'm almost finished with the Children of Dune. I've got a lot of Dune in me now. It was kind of funny because we talked about Dune Imperium coming out, and the expansion had the IX, and we couldn't decide if it was 9 or if it was X. I still don't know. So none of that information came up in the book. I was hoping I was going to have some information on that, but I don't yet. And I don't think I'm going to find it in the finish of The Children of Dune.
That one hit for me for the month. I also played one of Dennis's favorite games that he's been wanting me to play with him for a long time, Steampunk Rally Fusion. And that was pretty good too. Actually, there were things about this game that I loved. I loved just how, I guess, what the game is. The theme.
The steampunk theme?
Yeah, just how quirky it is. Because you're building a racing machine as you are racing. And so you're constantly building it, parts are exploding, or you're just dumping parts or whatever as you're going. It was really kind of cool. I really liked that.
I remember I played this game with Dennis. It's probably been years ago. In fact, I'm pretty sure I didn't even record that play because it was before I was keeping track of games. But did you play with Dennis? Is that who you played with?
Every Labor Day, we get together up in Preston, Idaho for a family reunion. Something our family is super excited about. Looks really forward to going up there and doing that. For me, one of the things that I look forward to is we generally get to play a lot of games up there because there's me, there's Dennis, Richie's up there, Andy Poops is there, Max is up there. And so there's a lot of family up there that likes to play games. That for me is always a highlight too. It's almost like a little mini con for me. That was awesome. But yeah, Dennis brought that. And so I finally got to play it. I liked it. Also, we got to play more Folklore, which was fantastic. The more I play that game, the more I like it.
Yeah, I think that we need to have less time in between our plays so
Definitely.
We can stay fresh on the rules. That's been the one bad thing. The times we have played Folklore is we usually have at least a month, sometimes longer, between plays, and we're going back to try to look rules up every single time. But this last time we played was a ton of fun.
It really was.
I really enjoyed it.
We might have to put that on Nathan's 10 by 30 or something next year.
30 by 10. We're not going to play it 30 times.
That's right. I knew what I was saying.
Yeah. I figured you knew what you were saying. That's why I corrected you.
So we got to go and play in the dig with Doug and got to meet his wife.
So wait, is it Dig Dug?
I like to say it that way, yes.
Well, DIG stands for Doug's Institute of Gaming. Doug has an awesome room in his home dedicated to gaming. Beautiful shelves that he's built, full of games. He's got them displayed so much better than mine. He's got a table that he made himself. It's a cool space.
It is. It was really fun, and it was fun to play with Amberly again and meeting and hanging out. We just talked for quite a bit with his wife, Lydia, so that was really cool. And then the last thing that I thought about was played Clank again, which, I mean, we played Clank, whatever, but we played it with the unique starting decks, the Monkey Bot Prime. You know, Nathan, you had the cat, and Andy had the sorceress. I've forgotten about those altogether. I generally love when you have asymmetric abilities and starts, including in this game. That was awesome. I loved that.
And we played at 6 players, which I didn't love. 6 players ran a little bit slow. I enjoyed playing with the asymmetrical powers. I thought that was great. To see all those, there's a couple more sets over there that have some different cards and different powers that we need to throw in there. So we need to try that again.
Nice, yeah. Just without 6 players.
Just, I'm thinking without 6 players, yeah. I was a little worried that it was going to bog down. I was hoping that it wouldn't be too much. In the end, I decided, for me anyways, it bogged down quite a bit. Mm-hmm. But I really enjoyed the play.
Cool. What do you guys got?
The game Kingsburg has been one of my favorite games for years, ever since I bought it, and I have the first edition. And they have now come out with a second edition. So there are some differences between first and second edition, and I think it's awesome that the publisher published a separate expansion that you can get for your first edition of Kingsburg so that you can gain the extra content.
Oh, nice.
So I ordered that. It changes the powers of people in the King's Court that you're influencing.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning of every season, a new tile comes out. It changes whatever that advisor does. I loved it. I think it added just a lot of freshness to the game.
Yeah, it was cool.
Able to play the Alchemist's expansion for Quacks of Quedlinburg,
which I thought was pretty fun too.
I loved it.
It was great. We played it several times.
Yeah, we have. And I actually like it a lot better than the Herb Witches expansion.
I think so too.
Fantastic expansion. One thing that was nice, and this is nice especially if you haven't purchased the upgraded chits for the game, is they added extra cherry bombs just to replace the cherry bombs that come with your base game, because they do wear out so quickly that they just added extra ones in to replace them, which I thought was nice. I hope that whoever does the chips will end up doing the upgraded ones. I'm sure they will. Chips for Alchemists, because I will be ordering them. Great expansion. We started a campaign for Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth. Actually, we started...
I was going to say, started several of those.
Several campaigns of Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth. Talked about this before, but it's been a lot of fun. We kind of got our butts handed to us the first time. I think I messed up and put us on difficult, because the other times we played, it was nothing even close to the experience we had the first time we played. Played a lot of Destinies, and I really like that game. It's been a long time, but we busted out Shadows of Brimstone. And it's been, my goodness, it's been at least 6 years since I played that last. To get that out, that game has so much content that has released since I played it last. I was looking at all the stuff that has been released. Oh my goodness. If you like games that have expansions, that is a game to look into. And then finally got to open up and play Descent Legends of the Dark.
Yes.
I'm very excited to play more of this.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's been my month. It's been an awesome gaming month.
Descent was the top of my list. Stuff I was excited for. I did get Great Western Trail off my 10 for 10. I'm only down to needing to complete 12 games to complete my 10 for 10. Pretty excited about that, although majority of those are Descent.
So, oh, really?
Yeah. We need to play Descent a lot more, which I'm pretty sure...
Darn.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that will not be difficult to get to the table before the end of the year. Last news episode, Andy, you talked about getting your wife to play Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. Yeah, I was hesitant to play this or get this to the table with my wife. Last couple of weeks, she brought up, hey, we need to play a game. What should we play? I got this Jaws of the Lion. So I sent her in the room where the games are stashed, and she was trying to find it. She couldn't find it. And I went in there to help her find it. She actually has it in her hand as she's looking under it. And I think just because the artwork on it and the size of the box was a little bit intimidating. But we've played through the first 5 scenarios and really, really like how well this teaches the game. The 3 of us, we've played Gloomhaven a ton of times. I've played Gloomhaven almost 80 times. I was worried about coming back to a simpler version of Gloomhaven, that it was going to be a letdown for me. Very much not. I've enjoyed the scenarios. The bringing in new rules slowly has been perfect for teaching my wife how to play. Perfect. We completed the first scenario, went through the boss, and the boss was going to be a little bit difficult. And as soon as we started setting up and started playing this one, my wife's like, I don't like this game anymore. Thought it was going to be too hard. Then we were able to win, and she was like, okay, it's okay. So we're looking forward to starting into the regular scenarios. I'm pretty sure we're going to probably go through all 25 scenarios. And just the story expands and the story builds. Great game to introduce her to. I would suggest it for a lot of people who maybe are a little bit more timid, but you want to introduce them to something great and grand. Gloomhaven, definitely going to overwhelm people, but Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, phenomenal. I can't praise that enough of how well the game plays, the experience that we've had so far.
So you played that with the Foreteller app.
Yeah, which was great.
Makes a huge difference, I think. Just having the narration and helps you dive into that game even more, especially for someone who's learning the game. At least for my wife, it helped her to get into the game a little bit more when you're not just grinding out rules and this is how you do this, this is how you do this. They can actually kind of get into the story a bit and immerse themselves in the story. I think that's such a great addition.
Yeah, well worth it for sure. I have the removable sticker, the add-on that you can get for the game. We started putting that out, and I think I put 1 sticker on that board. I maybe put 2 stickers. And then I realized that Foreteller app really just kind of tracks all that information for you. Don't even use that anymore. I love my wife to death. Anytime we play any sort of legacy game, she's, well, can't we preserve it? Don't write on it with pen.
Sounds pretty awesome.
She's very mindful of waste, which has been a huge blessing in our house. The Foreteller app tracks all that information. I can preserve, I'm going to use my finger air quotes there, I can preserve the removable sticker pack. Then if I want to allow somebody else to experience that, like my daughter and her new husband, I can say, hey, you guys can play this. You guys can use that. Or you can use the Foreteller app, which I would strongly recommend.
Very cool. I haven't had a chance to do that one yet, but look forward to it. We've got news. Coming up, several awesome things to look forward to.
We got a private event that we're going to in October. We're excited. We did it early in the spring, so it was Hug a Meeple, so we get with the ladies a hug, because they live about 80 miles away from us. They all came down, and we all gamed for 2 days at Andy's house. Now we're going up to their house, and we're all meeting at, I believe it's Julie's house. We're going to do 48 hours of gaming there. Pretty excited about that.
Yes, of course.
Then, of course, in November...
Yep, in November, we've got Board Game Geek Con, BGG Con, and I'm super looking forward to that. I love Texas. I haven't been there in a long time, so that is exciting for me just to be there again.
Because you're not going to see too much of it.
Oh, I know. I know. And I'm excited to not see too much of it. I'm just excited to be there. In November, we'll be going to BGG Con, and that's going to be awesome. And we're going to actually be headed out there with a couple of people. So Nathan Tenney's going down there with us.
All 4 of us are going, which is exciting. This will be my 4th BGG Con. First time for you guys, so excited to take you to all the places that I love there. I'll give you a show of a little bit of Texas, Dave. I'll take you to Heart 8 Barbecue, which is, in my opinion, the greatest barbecue place there. Not necessarily because it has necessarily the most amazing barbecue, but just the experience and the ambiance of Heart 8 is, I think, phenomenal.
You can't go to Texas without going to a barbecue place.
Yeah.
You have to.
And last time we went, Brent and myself, we went to 4 different barbecue places, and we didn't go to Heart 8.
Wow.
And I was mighty disappointed that we didn't go to Heart 8.
Oh, yeah.
And there's another one that's really good that's actually near where we're going. BGG Con's at a bigger hotel. Past, it's been over by Dallas Fort Worth, and Heart 8 is fairly near. Another one that's close to Hyatt Regency that we're going to be at this time is the Pecan Lodge. Their food was really good.
Nice.
So I'll take you there, and I'll take you to Heart 8, and you guys can decide which is better. But I'm pretty sure that you will like your experience at Heart 8 more than the Pecan Lodge, but you might like the food at Pecan Lodge better.
Cool.
So if anybody else knows of a better barbecue place, please let us know.
Yeah.
We'll be in Dallas.
Love to find out the places we need to hit before we get there.
And having barbecue every day is totally doable.
Oh, absolutely. I have no problem with that. And then in January, we have another awesome event.
In January, we have SaltCon Bryce. We're going down. I'm hoping that my wife is going to go with me.
And mine, too.
And yours, Dave's.
Yep, Adrian is looking forward to it.
And we'll bring Logan.
And we'll bring Logan. So I'm super excited about this. That's the biggest reason why I'm most excited, is because my wife is going to be going down, as long as she can get off work. Hopefully, gaming with our wives. Hopefully, they'll want to game as much as we do. We'll find out, I guess, because she's never been to a gaming convention.
Well, this is going to be a good one to go to. I've never been, but the feedback that I've got, BryceCon is a very casual. You go down to Ruby Inn, which is just right outside the entrance of Bryce Canyon. There's like nothing else there. You can sit in the hotel room, or you can go play some games, because there's really nothing else really to do.
So the way to test this is to, if you want to not be bored, you only have one choice.
Yes, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a casual experience. SaltCon will have their gaming library, most of their gaming library there. So there will be games to play. William, coming from Seattle.
Oh, that's right.
We're going to pick him up at the airport and drive him out there.
Cool.
So that he'll be with us as well.
And unfortunately, tickets are sold out, but it's going to be an awesome event. So if you have a ticket, we'll see you down there.
I'm actually really looking forward to it also because my oldest daughter is down at Southern Utah University. I'm a sad papa without her around, so I'm excited. We'll probably have her drive up there to see us. It's about an hour, I think, away from her. At the end of the con, we'll have her come out there and maybe we'll go hiking or something together. Looking forward to it.
After that, we have SaltCon Spring. SaltCon Spring is SaltCon's marquee event. 4 days of gaming. Tickets are available now. You should totally book them down now and come join us at SaltCon. Tons of events. This is where we do the game show. Last year when we did the game show, we had to do it in 2 events because we had so many people show up. It was awesome. Had a blast with that.
Yes.
In fact, I had an opportunity to present that game show again, and I had forgotten how much fun presenting that SaltCon. And ironically enough, when I was at this retreat, I also lost my voice there. So apparently I need to use a microphone, and so I will remember to use that. Last time during SaltCon Spring, by the end, I had like 0 voice because I'd been explaining games. We ran the game show. We ran Werewolf. We had several social games that we ran. It was a blast. Looking forward to it again next year.
I always love SaltCon ever since the first time. I don't even remember how I got involved, who convinced me to come down and go to this, because I was still living up in Washington. I ended up there with Nathan Tanny. I immediately was like, oh my goodness, I can never miss one of these again.
And Nathan's the same way, right?
I know. Yep,
he hasn't missed one since.
And I'm excited because Adrian has a ticket, and
really?
so does Jack, my little
my
little 13-year-old. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, my oldest daughter's going too, so it'll be a full house over in the Meeple Nation tables.
That's good times.
It'll be good.
All right, well, I guess that's enough of highlights and where to find us next. Let's quickly talk about some new games, new game announcements. I'm really excited about this one. I can't wait. Gen Con happened. Fantasy Flight did their in-flight report. Finally announced an expansion for Outer Rim. I am so excited for this. Called Outer Rim Unfinished Business. They didn't have much information at all. They just threw out the title, and I was all excited. Yay! So we probably won't see it for a year, maybe even longer. But to know that it's there, to know that it has a title, has Dengar on the cover, conversing, I believe it's somebody from the Black Sun criminal organization. Excited for that.
Totally. Are there any other new game expansions coming out that anybody's heard of?
Ghosts of Greyhaven. This is for Descent Legends of the Dark. There's already an announcement for an expansion. and I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
Act 1 is the current game that's out. Act 2 is still being developed. Ghosts of Greyhaven is a side story that can be incorporated in the Act 1 game that you can purchase right now. Be interesting to see how they implement their expansions with the fully integrated app and everything else. I'm curious how they're going to do that. But regardless, I am super excited that they already have an expansion announced, with the game having just barely been out for 2 months.
3 weeks? Yeah.
So, yeah, very, very excited.
Very, very cool. Dice Realms is a game that I think looks awesome. 45 to 60 minute game for 2 to 4 players. Of course, it has dice, so I like that. It's a fantasy scenario theme, but it includes deck, bag, and pool building mechanics, and the dice rolling mechanic as well. All things that I love so much. This is a game where you will be upgrading dice in order to grow and expand your realm. And it looks really, really cool. The only problem I have with it, we've been working on a game. One of the directions I've wanted to take it is the dice building direction. This one makes it less likely that could happen.
Just because the mechanic is all used up?
The theme is not too different.
Because they never have games that are similar themed out there.
But
they
similar
only have
theme with the same mechanics.
Because they only have so many dice deck builder games that they can put out there.
Shut up.
A new game also coming out is by Friedman Freese, which is Free Ride. 1 to 5 player game, plays in 50 to 90 minutes. Favorite games from days gone by, Power Grid. I really, really like Power Grid. It's by the same designer. Around the end of the 19th century, a growing network of railroad lines was built in Europe, allowing people to travel from major cities to visit beautiful structures. You're one of several people in charge of building railroad lines connecting the cities in Europe. Train games have a huge following. There is people who just eat up train games. I think this is going to be a great game. Looking forward to it. The fact that, you can play one player, I've decided more and more I am not against games having a solo variant.
Especially if they do the solo variant well.
Yeah, I guess that's absolutely right, yeah.
Are there any fans of the game Role Player out there?
Yes.
Role Player is coming out with not 1, but 2 expansions.
Well, it's not an expansion. Role Player Adventures is a base game.
You're right, it's a base game, but it is tied to the Role Player game. Start out with Role Player, with the different expansions that they've come out. In Monsters and Minions, you went to war against the Dragul invaders. In Fiends and Familiars, you befriended wild beasts and dispelled cruel spirits. And now, your fully formed battle-hardened heroes must defend the kingdom of Nalos and uncover a mystery that lies at the heart of the abandoned lands. But navigate your missions with care. It's up to you who to befriend and who to battle. Will you slay the giant troll or attempt to make peace? Will you do the vampire's bidding or defend the mysterious cultists he wants you to destroy? Will you remain loyal to king and country or side with the enemies of Nalos? Whatever choices you make, someone will remember and respond. So this changes the game from a competitive game to a fully cooperative game. Before this got announced, every time we've played Role Player, Dave and I have kind of felt the same way. It's like, oh, it'd be cool to actually do an adventure and go on a campaign or create characters based on this. So I'm super excited that they have come out with a way to do that.
Absolutely. I think this is one of the greatest ideas in gaming that I've heard in a long time. You really enjoy that gameplay in Role Player. Like you said, every time we've played, we've come away going, gosh, I would love to take this character that I've been building here and convert it and use it in another thing, right? And now we can.
I'm really looking forward to this hitting the table. They already have an expansion out for Role Player Adventures that adds new content, adds over 40 unique storylines, more content for the adventures. To already come out with an expansion for a game that's just barely coming out is kind of cool. It looks awesome.
That's exciting. I wish I hadn't gotten rid of my copy of Role Player.
I happen to have one.
Well, good.
And 2 copies of...
So we don't talk role-playing games very much, but Renegade has released core books, the G.I. Joe, and Transformers role-playing game. We ordered 3 of each of these books for our group. I'm hoping that with 3 of us ordering books that we're going to play it at some point. But, there's just too many games and not enough game nights. But I'm still really excited, and hopefully we can do something to introduce these because it excites me.
I got to be honest. I'm not sure which one sounds better. They both just sound so good.
I
Intriguing,
agree.
right?
Very much intriguing.
Transformers, if you can actually build your Transformer when you're designing your character, that just sounds awesome.
It totally does. It really sounds like there's, more than meets the eye.
Almost. Yeah.
Almost. And now you know.
And knowing's half the battle.
Oh, man, you guys are dorks.
So another one coming out that I really love, escape room type, murder mystery type games. Renegade has also started a series of these Crimes and Capers games. Crimes and Capers, you're working together, you're solving puzzles, you're solving mystery, you're trying to solve the crime. They have 2 that are coming out, and the first one is High School Hijinks, and the second one is Lady Leona's Last Wishes. Pre-ordered both of these, excited. We can get these to the table, get those a try. I enjoy solving the puzzles. I enjoy trying to figure out the clues. Hopefully it's better than Break-In. You guys were talking about how frustrating puzzles and the clues were. So I like it when these games are done well, but I've really enjoyed the Dexcape, Unlock, and the Exit series. So I'm hoping that these are going to be good. Looking forward to those. But that's Crimes and Capers.
There's one benefit to us getting older, and that's the replayability is going to go up with these games.
I don't know if that's a good thing, but that's definitely a real thing.
Yeah, there's got to be a positive, right?
Indeed. Yeah. Let's talk about some new games that have just been released. I've picked up Clever Cubed, which is part of the That's So Clever and Twice as Clever dice rolling game. My wife really enjoys these, so this is one that I buy and I keep at home. We go through these every year, easily play these 10 times each. These dice games are really fun. But that's Clever Cubed. Follow that. This is So Clever, Twice as Clever, Clever Cubed. And so I don't know what they're going to do for the next Clever game.
To the 4th power.
The 4th dimension,
the
maybe?
4th, there we go. My question is, have you been craving a 14th expansion? In my case, 15th expansion for Dominion?
I saw that and I put it on the list. I should have just put your name right next to it. I really enjoy Dominion. Dominion got to the point where I'm just overloaded. Same thing with Legendary Marvel deck building game. It just got to the point where it's too much.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so I pulled back, and I'm on the cusp there with Marvel Champions too. It just gets to the point where maybe it's too much content.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll probably still play your copy.
Let's hope.
Several times.
We'll have to bring it when Logan's here, because he loves Dominion.
He loves Dominion.
I am excited about it. I saw that too, and I was like, oh, another. Very excited about that. Great game. Always going to be a fan of that. I totally understand your thought about too much content, though, because I certainly have my favorite expansions and whatever.
Well, there's some of their definitely weaker expansions.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now that we've played it so much and there's so many new games, it doesn't hit the table as much. When we do play it, if we don't get some of those cards from those ones that I love, it's like, oh man, it's a big disappointment.
But you're experiencing something new, Dave.
Well, I will be.
Actually, I think there's a lot of content that I have that you haven't played yet.
That may be true.
So we should probably break it out. Play some Dominion.
Totally.
We need to put it on the 10 for 10. Logan would love that.
Logan would love that, yes. That, and we'll put Space Base back on there for him, too.
Another game called Coffee Traders, I've been looking at a little bit, and it looks really cool. Coffee Traders is a game for 2 to 5 players. Downside to it, not for me, I know for a lot of you guys, it says the playing time is 120 to 150 minutes. To me, that's like, if you can make a game be a long game and have it be good throughout, that's the mark of a great game.
Absolutely. Playing a game with you that has a base time of 2 hours to 3 hours
coming.
is a challenge. Not necessarily a challenge playing the game, but you challenge that time. I'll show you 2 hours.
It does depend. Co-op games are not as bad as competitive games. I've noticed Dave doesn't take very long turns on it.
Coffee Trader is not a co-op game.
No, it's not. It's competitive. One of the things I'm actually really excited about is on the complexity rating on BGG, it gives it a 4.18 out of 5.
Whoa, really?
So it's a heavy game according to them. Looking through the pictures, seeing all of the content, there are some things in it that really make me think of Great Western Trail. Anyway, I think it looks really good. But I think it's going to be a good game. I'm excited about it.
There's a pretty good chance you could probably play it at Hug a MeepleCon. That sounds like a game that's right up the alley for the Hug.
Julie and Claudine probably both like this type of game, would be my guess.
If they own it, I'm sure they would be happy to play with you and then be happy to never play with you again.
Oh, please.
So, Andy, coming back to you, there was another game that I put on this list that had your name all over it, and that's Glory Islands. The year 1660, pirate ship crews are determined to find out who's the best captain amongst the pirates. A contest will be held to crown the king of the pirates. I know you have a love of pirate games.
I do.
Quick pirate game for 2 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes. So I think this is one that we should pick up, dive into it for sure. Played over a series of rounds in which players simultaneously play sailing cards from their hands. The card values define the turn order, how far ships can move on the board, and where a player's pirates may be placed on the board. Depending on where they are placed, pirates may receive glory, treasure tokens, or barrels. The cards may also provide bonus actions that players can use to gain an advantage over their opponents. When pirates occupy all the spaces on an island, the player with the most pirates on the island will gain the most glory and be king of the pirates. So I totally thought that had your name all over it, Andy.
I like being king of the pirates. That sounds awesome. Quick game, my wife would be all over that. Plus, I can play games with 2 players, so I can play with my wife. I wish I had a higher player count, because that's kind of been our bane, right?
It has been, yep.
5 to 6 players. 6 players isn't too bad, because it can split up, but 5 players. Not having that player count on is rough, but... Oh, it looks interesting.
Another sissy short game.
Another sissy short game.
Another game on here... Spy Connection is another game. Looks kind of interesting. I enjoy the spy theme a little bit. 2 to 4 player game. 20 to 30 minutes. I'm not really sure about it for me. It does have card drafting, network and route building, which I enjoy both of those. Point-to-point movement. I would really have to see how that works out in gameplay, really, to know how I like it. But this game looks like one that I would totally be excited to try. I just don't know that I would love it.
Now, the last game you presented, Nathan mentioned about you challenging the time. I honestly think that you would challenge the time on this because you said that it has a card drafting element to it.
Maybe the first couple times I play it.
Dave does like to...
He loves cards.
Yes, he loves to read and analyze every card, which is why he does so well at them. So.
That is true. Speaking of games that go up to 5 players but still have a 2-player count, and honestly... I've gotten to where I really like roll and writes, and this is a new roll and write game. Lost Cities. Playing time is 30 minutes, 2 to 5 players. In the Lost Cities roll and write, want to start your expeditions on 6 colored paths with the smallest possible numbers on the dice. And each turn, you decide whether to continue with an expedition or start a new one. Acceleration fields and artifacts provide opportunities to advance quickly, but you'll have to consider carefully which paths to take on which roll. If you make good progress, victory beckons. But if an expedition gets stuck, you will lose points just as quickly as you earned them. Quick roll and write games make great fillers. I mentioned before that we would take Pass the Pigs on dates, my wife and I. We've started taking Catan Dice Game on dates as well. Those roll and writes, typically they're small, they're easy to, my wife can just throw them in her purse. When we go on a date, we'll be waiting for our food to show up, and we're just playing the game. It sounds awesome. Usually you're not waiting much longer than a half an hour. For something like this is something I would very, very much be interested in.
Have you played Lost Cities?
I have not.
So Lost Cities is started out as a card game. Then they made a full board game version of it. So I'm very excited to see how this turns out. I really enjoy Lost Cities and then Lost Cities, the board game. So I'm excited to see how this turns out. One final game that I want to talk about is a game that I already haven't played it yet, but looking forward to playing it, and that's Project L. Project L is a fast-paced, tile-matching brain burner with multiple-layer 3D puzzles and lovely acrylic pieces. Challenge your friends to a game of simple design but intricate gameplay that makes a lasting impression. Games like Number 9 really enjoy. I have 2 copies of Number 9 so that we can take it up to 8 players. So I don't know if you'll be able to expand this like Number 9, but I'm looking forward to giving it a shot. I'm thinking that's a game that my wife will enjoy playing as well. That's Project L.
triple layer 3D puzzles. What's not to like? So that is our news episode for this month.
We've talked about a lot of new games. We've talked a lot of announced games.
A lot of highlights.
And a lot of highlights. And we completely run out of time for Kickstarters.
I encourage you to go to your favorite crowdfunding board game resource and check them out, see what there is, and get something good. Until next time.
We'll see you at the game table.
As always, we want to thank you for listening.
Check out our website. We have all sorts of cool things there. Love those blogs. Get a deeper look into the writing side of Meeple Nation.
Join our Facebook group, Meeple Nation Off Air. I look forward to seeing you there.
Follow us on Twitter, @Meeple Nation. We also have Instagram.
Under the same name. We also want to thank our sponsor, GameToppersLLC.com.
We love their product. And they have so much goodness out there.
And we also want to thank Braden Detergent for our music. Well, you can't go to Texas with
Yeah, you said it. I have 2 copies of number 9 so that we can take that up to 8 count. Forget it. We can take it up to 8 players.